Bill Clinton didn't hold back when newly leaked Epstein files just dropped with some seriously disturbing photos that have celebrities absolutely panicking. And with new evidence coming out every single day, the speculation is going absolutely insane. Joe Rogan recently sat down on his podcast and broke down these entire Epstein files, hinting at some shocking names that could be next on the chopping block. I think the name that really kind of shocked everyone was Bill Clinton himself. There's been this wild speculation that as soon as these new files dropped, Bill's legal team went into full overdrive mode because he was mentioned over 50 times in the documents. And Bill is out here trying to distance himself from anything related to Epstein. He even released statements saying he only flew on the Lolita Express a few times for charity work. Bro, that didn't age well at all. And let's not forget the photos that just leaked showing Bill in a private jacuzzi surrounded by women, whose faces are completely redacted. I mean, Bill was acting like his trips to Epstein's island were all innocent, hanging out like it was some charity foundation retreat. But what was really disturbing was seeing the flight logs that show he flew on that plane at least 26 times, not the 4 times he originally claimed. The files revealed that Clinton visited Little St. James Island, also known as Epstein Island, on multiple occasions between 2002 and 2003. Witnesses placed him there during times when young women were allegedly present, and the documents show that Epstein's staff was specifically instructed to accommodate Clinton's visits with special security measures and privacy protocols. In the newly released documents, Epstein's pilot David Rogers testified that Bill Clinton flew with Epstein multiple times, and several other witnesses mentioned seeing him at the island. Young women were reportedly present during these visits, and if you've followed the Epstein case, then you know just how disturbing this entire situation is. What makes this even more suspicious is that Clinton's Secret Service detail was allegedly left behind on several of these trips. According to flight manifests, Clinton flew without his security team on at least 5 separate occasions, which raises the question, why would a former president ditch his Secret Service protection unless he was trying to keep something private? Ghislaine Maxwell mentioned Clinton by name in her depositions, saying that he and Epstein were very close friends. She said Clinton would often visit the island and stay for extended periods. She even described dinner parties where Clinton was the guest of honor and young women were allegedly brought in to entertain the guests. And this is why people are starting to question if Bill was involved in way more than he's letting on. Maxwell also testified that Epstein had a painting of Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress and red heels hanging in his Manhattan townhouse. When FBI agents raided the property in 2019, they found this painting in a prominent location. The symbolism here is insane because it's clearly a reference to the Monica Lewinsky scandal, and it shows just how much dirt Epstein allegedly had on Clinton. If these files keep dropping, we might find out exactly what Bill Clinton was really doing on those trips. But it's not just Clinton. The files implicate dozens of other powerful people who flew on that plane or visited the island. And the deeper you dig, the more names start popping up. Donald Trump has also been mentioned in the files, but here's where it gets interesting. Trump was listed, but there's no evidence linking him to the island itself. In fact, court documents show Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago back in the early 2000s after Epstein allegedly made advances toward a member's underage daughter. Let's not forget that infamous photo of Trump and Epstein together at a party in the 90s. At the time, everyone in New York high society knew each other. Trump, Clinton, Epstein, they all ran in the same circles. But the documents show Trump cut ties way before Epstein's arrest. Meanwhile, Bill Clinton's name keeps popping up over and over again in witness testimonies. One witness even testified that Trump was at Epstein's Manhattan apartment once in the 90s but left early and never returned. The witness said Trump seemed uncomfortable and made it clear he wasn't interested in whatever Epstein was offering. This testimony directly contradicts the narrative that Trump was deeply involved with Epstein's activities. There's been some serious chatter that more celebrities might be caught up in some of the documents that are still sealed. And if that's true, it's only a matter of time before more names get brought up in this whole mess. People are not just sitting around waiting. They want answers, and they want them now. Kevin Spacey is another name that recently surfaced. He allegedly flew on the Lolita Express with Clinton to Africa. Photos from that trip show Spacey and Clinton together on the plane. They were supposedly on a humanitarian mission for the Clinton Foundation. But considering Spacey's own legal troubles with multiple allegations against him, this connection is looking more and more suspicious. The Africa trip took place in 2002 and included stops in Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, Mozambique, and South Africa. Spacey was photographed sitting in the pilot's seat of the Lolita Express joking around, and Chris Tucker, the actor, was also on this trip. Tucker has since said he had no idea about Epstein's criminal activities at the time, but the fact remains that all these celebrities were willingly flying on a convicted offender's private jet. Prince Andrew is also neck-deep in this situation. Virginia Giuffre's testimony directly named Prince Andrew, claiming Epstein trafficked her to him when she was just 17 years old. The famous photo of Andrew with his arm around Virginia at Ghislaine Maxwell's house is burned into everyone's memory. Andrew tried to claim he didn't remember meeting her, and even said the photo might be fake. Bro, nobody is buying that. In his disastrous BBC interview, Prince Andrew claimed he couldn't have been with Virginia on the night she alleged because he was at a Pizza Express in Woking with his daughter. He also said he has a medical condition that prevents him from sweating, which contradicted Virginia's testimony that he was sweating profusely when they danced together. The internet absolutely roasted him for these ridiculous excuses. The documents also revealed that Prince Andrew visited Epstein's private island multiple times, and witnesses testified seeing him receiving massages from young women. Andrew eventually settled a lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre for an undisclosed amount, reportedly in the millions, and he was stripped of his royal titles and military affiliations. If he was truly innocent, why would he pay millions to make this go away? Naomi Campbell's name appeared in the flight logs too. She flew on Epstein's plane multiple times, and although she's denied any wrongdoing, people are questioning why she was so close to both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. There are photos of Naomi at events with both of them looking very comfortable. She was also photographed on Epstein's island during a party in the early 2000s. Campbell claimed she was there for a modeling event and didn't know about Epstein's crimes. But multiple witnesses have said that anyone who spent time around Epstein and Maxwell knew exactly what was going on. The younger girls were always present at these gatherings, and it wasn't exactly subtle. Then you have people like Stephen Hawking. Yes, the famous physicist. Documents show Epstein paid for Hawking to visit the island for a science conference in 2006. Now, while there's no evidence Hawking did anything wrong, it shows just how deep Epstein's connections ran. He was using his wealth and private island to rub shoulders with the most powerful people in the world. Epstein loved to surround himself with brilliant minds and celebrities. He hosted conferences with Nobel Prize winners, he funded scientific research, and he donated millions to universities like MIT and Harvard. But underneath all of this philanthropy was a dark underbelly, where he was allegedly trafficking young girls and using his connections to powerful people as leverage. Elon Musk even tweeted about this, saying if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public, and some of those billionaires are terrified of that outcome. The internet went crazy over that tweet because everyone knows there are still sealed documents that haven't been released yet. Musk has been very vocal about transparency and releasing all the information to the public. Musk also said that he met Epstein once at a party and thought he was creepy. He said Epstein kept trying to set up business meetings with him, but Musk declined every time. Musk even tweeted that Epstein's connections to certain media outlets and academic institutions need to be investigated because there's clearly been a cover-up happening for years. Leonardo DiCaprio's name has also been whispered in connection to Epstein, although there's no direct evidence in the files. Leo was photographed multiple times at parties where Epstein and Ghislaine were present, and considering Leo's history of dating much younger women, people are side-eyeing those connections real hard. Some witnesses have mentioned seeing DiCaprio at Epstein's New York townhouse, but there's no testimony that he visited the island or engaged in any illegal activity. Still, the fact that he was in Epstein's orbit at all is raising questions, especially since Leo has been so quiet about the whole situation. The craziest part is that 16 files allegedly disappeared before they could be released to the public. Some people are speculating that powerful people paid to have their names scrubbed from the documents. Trump even mentioned in interviews that he believes some files were intentionally hidden to protect certain individuals. These missing files have become the subject of massive conspiracy theories online. People are saying that high-ranking politicians, billionaires, and even foreign dignitaries paid millions to have their names removed. And considering how much money and power is at stake, it's not that far-fetched to believe that someone would try to bury this evidence. Ghislaine Maxwell herself said in her testimony that many powerful men visited the island. She mentioned politicians, business executives, and even members of royalty, but she refused to name all of them, claiming she feared for her safety. Now that she's serving 20 years in prison, people are wondering if she ever fully cooperate. Maxwell's trial revealed disturbing details about how she and Epstein operated. They would recruit young girls from poor backgrounds, promise them modeling opportunities or money for school, and then groom them into their trafficking network. Maxwell was described as the madam who organized everything, while Epstein provided the money and connections. Alan Dershowitz was also named in the documents. He was part of Epstein's legal team and has been accused by Virginia Giuffre of being involved. Dershowitz has denied everything and even sued Giuffre for defamation, but his close relationship with Epstein is undeniable. He helped negotiate Epstein's controversial plea deal in 2008 that allowed Epstein to serve only 13 months in a county jail with work release privileges. That 2008 plea deal has been called one of the most lenient sentences ever given for such serious crimes. Epstein was allowed to leave jail 6 days a week to work at his office. He had his own private security, and he avoided federal charges that could have put him away for life. Dershowitz was the mastermind behind this deal, and many believe he should be investigated for his role in helping Epstein avoid justice. Bill Gates met with Epstein multiple times after Epstein's 2008 conviction. Gates claimed the meetings were about philanthropy, but his ex-wife Melinda Gates said she was uncomfortable with Bill's relationship with Epstein. She even cited it as one of the reasons for their divorce. That's a pretty big red flag if you ask me. Melinda reportedly warned Bill multiple times to stop associating with Epstein. She met Epstein once and said she had an immediate visceral reaction to him. She described him as evil, personified, yet Bill continued to fly on Epstein's plane and meet with him at his Manhattan townhouse. The big question is, why would Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, need anything from Jeffrey Epstein? Some reports suggest Epstein was helping Gates with his image and connections to other wealthy donors. Epstein allegedly promised to help Gates win a Nobel Peace Prize through his philanthropic work, but others speculate there was something darker going on, especially since Gates has been so secretive about the nature of their relationship. The Clinton Foundation also received donations that were allegedly connected to Epstein's network. Although there's no direct proof of wrongdoing, the timing of these donations and Clinton's trips on the Lolita Express are raising serious questions. Some of these donations came from wealthy individuals who were also connected to Epstein. One donor who gave millions to the Clinton Foundation was later revealed to have flown on Epstein's plane multiple times. The foundation has denied any knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities, but critics are demanding a full audit of all donations received during the time period when Clinton and Epstein were close. What's even crazier is how many of these people are trying to distance themselves now. They're all claiming they barely knew Epstein or that their interactions were purely professional. But the flight logs, photos, and witness testimonies tell a completely different story. You can't fly on someone's private plane 26 times and claim you barely knew them. The internet has been absolutely ruthless about this. One user said Elon Musk didn't just buy a social media platform, he bought a crime scene. Another user said when Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Kevin Spacey, and Bill Gates have trial dates set, then I would believe justice will start to be served. One viral tweet said, "Why are we acting surprised? We've known about this for years, but nobody wanted to believe it because these people were too powerful to touch." Well, guess what? The files don't lie, and now everyone is scrambling to save their reputations. Trump has been very vocal about releasing all the files. He's said multiple times that the public deserves to know the truth about who was involved with Epstein, and if he wins the presidency again, he's promised to declassify everything. Trump said in a recent interview that some very powerful people are very nervous right now, during a rally. Trump even hinted that some of the people fighting hardest against him are the same people who have the most to lose if the Epstein files go public. He didn't name names, but the implication was clear. There are people in politics, business, and entertainment who are terrified of what might come out. The FBI has been sitting on thousands of hours of video footage that was seized from Epstein's properties. These tapes allegedly show prominent figures engaging in illegal activities, but so far none of it has been released to the public. Many people believe the FBI is protecting certain individuals, and that's why we haven't seen any major arrests besides Ghislaine Maxwell. There's also speculation that foreign intelligence agencies have copies of Epstein's blackmail material. Some reports suggest that Epstein had connections to intelligence services and was using his trafficking operation to gather compromising information on powerful people. If this is true, then the implications are absolutely insane because it means Epstein wasn't just a predator. He was operating an espionage ring. Victims like Virginia Giuffre have been incredibly brave in coming forward, but they've also faced intense scrutiny and attacks from powerful legal teams. Giuffre has said she won't stop fighting until everyone involved is held accountable. She's currently pushing for more sealed documents to be released and for criminal charges to be brought against others in Epstein's network. Now I got to ask, do you think these powerful people are really going to face justice, or will they keep hiding behind lawyers and sealed documents? And more importantly, if all the files get released, who's going to be the first to fall? Are we going to see former presidents, princes, and billionaires actually go to trial? Or is this just going to be another cover-up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know who you think is most guilty in all of this, and whether you believe the full truth will ever come out. And make sure you click on this next video because we're diving even deeper into the Epstein case, with more names and more evidence that's just as crazy.